Guys, on this week's episode, we are diving into how the weather needs some fucking therapy, like, let's be real, and how my real job is getting in the way of my side hustles. And we have had a normal outing, quote, quote, normal, I use that term very loosely, making the most of my limited time with my husband and how I'm trying to find joy in every day. So let's dive in.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Wainwright. I'm a wife, a mom, a business owner, and my life is chaotic all the time. So I created this podcast to help you find the funny, the good, while navigating through the chaos. This is Chaotic Compass Podcast.
Okay, what is up? Hey guys, Stephanie here, Chaotic Compass. Thank you for tuning in. So, this evening, just going to recap some of the most chaotic moments of the last how many ever weeks it's been. So first off, let's just do a collective fuck winter. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 with me at the same time. 1, 2, 3, fuck winter. I've had it. I'm done. I am so fucking over winter. I'm ready for spring. I'm ready for warmth. I'm ready for the sicknesses to go away. I'm definitely over snow. So, yeah, how is it that the weather can be 72 and sunny one day, and then all of a sudden it's 30 degrees and it's 8 inches of snow outside, and my seasonal depression is literally thriving, and then all of a sudden Mother Nature is clearly unmedicated and she's back to 70s with tornado warnings and thunderstorms and chaos. So what the actual hell? The other thing is, what the actual hell? I literally walked out. This was a few weeks ago. When Ryan was gone, and I'm trying my best, and it was one morning. I didn't even have to have any kids. I had both of my kids were at their dad's house, and I was just had to get myself physically to work. I got myself dressed. I didn't sleep well. I don't sleep well when my husband's not here. And I walked out of the house with 2 different shoes on, 1 slipper and 1 tennis shoe. How does that even happen? I got halfway down the road and I was like, what the fuck? And I had to turn around. So maybe I'm unmedicated. Maybe that's what I think. Honestly, if I could just have a good week's sleep, like 7 solid days in a row, how many hours that is of sleep, maybe my brain will reset and get its shit together. But until then, here we are. So I can't be too harsh on Mother Nature, because she's trying her best just like all of us. But fuck winter. Okay. I feel like Mother Nature it's like being in a toxic relationship where you think things have changed, but they're just waiting to gaslight you again. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, because I feel like, oh, cool. We've got, a little stint of warmth, and it's actually March, and maybe she's getting her shit together, but probably gonna be snow in March. Watch it or something. I've actually seen snow in April around here in Virginia. So. But I've officially reached the point where I just go outside in layers, and that I can remove like a stripper, and that's kind of like my side hustle now. I layer it up. But speaking of side hustles, like my real job, I become so fucking important that I am not getting enough time for my podcast, which is my therapy, which is the one joy. Okay, I have 4 tiny little bundles of joy. Okay, they're not tiny anymore. My son's going to be like 97 foot tall, but you know what I mean. This is the one thing where I could be creative. I put it all in and I just invest in it. And my real job is taking away my time and my energy for this. So yeah, this past week I had to go to Norfolk for an all-day conference with the, big wigs, I guess, of our region. It was a regional meeting, and I'm a regional business analyst. That's the only reason why I was there. No, that's not the only reason. I keep downplaying myself, so I'm gonna try to do better. But any hoops, and trying to get myself dressed, ready, get my daughter out the door because I have to drop her off. I dropped her off at her dad's house. My son is self-sufficient and he got himself ready and was out the door for the bus. But I was up at 5:30 in the morning. Fuck that. What the fuck? And out the door by 6:30 and then stuck in traffic by 7. So yay. Yeah for me. I had to be there by 8, but there was like a breakfast like thing beforehand, and so I just whatever. I really don't eat breakfast, so it's not that big of a deal. So anywho, that was fun. But yeah, so I had to sit in this meeting for, well over 8 hours and like pretend to be professional. Like I actually wore like boots, like real, like kind of with the heel. And I mean, I'm already like almost 6 foot tall. So, and pretend to like kind of give a shit about synergy and spreadsheets. I mean, I love a fucking spreadsheet, don't get me wrong, but this was an overload of like information about the company as a whole, our parent company, our region. It was just like an inundation of shit. So I don't know. But the whole time I'm thinking like, oh God, what am I gonna walk back into when I go back to the office tomorrow? Like all of the emails and all of the actual priorities, like this fucking podcast because it was on a Thursday and then I had to go to dinner with these guys. And so, or, my option is either go to dinner with the bigwigs or sit in traffic for an hour and a half. I'm going to pick dinner and drinks that, the corporate people pay for. So yeah, I didn't get time for this. My energy has gone out the door and it's sucking me dry. So, and tell me this, why does corporate America and the government, by the way, because that's what my office specifically works for, but why does the government and corporate America use so many fucking acronyms? What is with that? Like, why can't we just say it? Like, please, for the love of God. Meanwhile, back at home, Ryan has still been gone for most of the time. He hasn't been gone every single day during the week for the past few weeks, but it's been a majority of the time. And guess who gets to pick up the slack there still? So that's fun. I don't know if you guessed it. You guessed me, right? Because this podcast is about me. The extra responsibilities is we've been trying to make sure we actually make time for things that matter. And I've been really trying to put emphasis on like when we do have the kids, because when Ryan's gone, his kids aren't here. It's just mine. And it's so freaking weird. And so we're back to kind of like that before Gary and I moved down here, that every other weekend thing. And so I put a lot of emphasis on those weekends because I want to spend as much time with my kids as possible. And now I feel like we're kind of back in that a little bit. So we planned a family outing. Our local hockey team, they're ECHL. If you don't know what that means, look it up. I'm not going to fucking explain it. But I've been following the Norfolk Admirals. They used to be, I don't know, since the 90s, easily. I'm old, whatever. And I've loved hockey since I was a very little girl. My uncle used to take me all the time. He's the one that taught me about sports in general, but hockey was always my favorite because nowhere in any game is it just you throw your gloves off and just duke it out. They put you in a penalty box for 2 minutes and then you keep on going. Usually you get ejected or it's not good. So I love fights, okay? And I have always loved fights, and not hockey fights, not like actual fighting. Like I hate fighting with my husband, but I feel like I do that a lot, and I hate when the kids fight. So hockey fights, guys. But I love hockey games in general. So we took the kids to a Norfolk Admirals game. It was like they were doing something weird. I guess it's your town night. And so they were wearing jerseys that said Yorktown Admirals. And that's where we live. And so it was really good. And it was a sold out game. There was a ton of people there. There There was a local school that sang the national anthem. Kylie's, her high school, sang a song there too. It was really cool. And so, but beforehand, and we've taken half of the kids to the grilled cheese bistro, but we haven't taken all of the kids. And so basically we got like 3 grilled cheeses and split it. No, I think we got 4. Any hoops. We only got like 3 or 4 grilled cheeses and we split it between all of us, and we still had 3/4 of, if not a whole grilled cheese left over, and then 2 things of fries and split it between all of us. It was just, those grilled cheeses are amazing. So if you haven't checked them out, Grilled Cheese Bistro in Norfolk, Virginia, please. They are so, so yummy. And, you know, locally owned and operated, just a small little hole in the wall on, I think it's actually Granby. I don't know if it's the street over from Granby, but they're really good. So we got to take everybody there. We got to sit at the bar because there's 6 of us and their tables are tiny, and so that was kind of funny. And then we walked down the street and went to Scope, where the hockey game was. And, you know, if you look from the outside in, like me trying to herd 5 other people down Granby Street to get to Scope, and it wasn't warm, and there's still snow on the ground from, you know, Mother Nature's bipolarness the other week. And, you know, we get there and we finally find our seats. I mean, those were seats that I got were pretty decent. And because we were York County residents, we got like a discount, and it was just a lot of fun. And the girls, like, I thought that they weren't going to have any fun except for like the music that they play, because they've always, you know, entertaining people, but they really got into the fights and the game in general. So, and they won 4-0. It was just a good evening out with my whole family, and I really enjoyed seeing them enjoy something that I always used to enjoy when I was a kid. I just wish it was cheaper. I mean, god dang. So Waterman's, which is a restaurant that's in the ocean front in Virginia Beach, they have a little kiosk, and I love their orange crushes. And I was like, oh my God. And I was literally just talking about this, like, I don't know, a few days before we went there, and they were selling them there. I was like, oh, fuck yeah, of course I have to get them. And Brian got 2, and I was like, oh, cool, okay. And then and it was delicious. And so when I got gone out to go to the bathroom and I came out, I got 2 more. Bro, $18 for a cup of alcohol? Help me understand the, like, after tip, well over 40, but I was in shock, you guys, in total disbelief. Okay, so I stopped drinking really quickly then. But you know, just, it's a great experience to be out there, but I really feel like it's just one of those rare occasions. I don't know how people do that on the regular with a family that's our size, or in general, just, you know. So yeah, it was a lot of money for sure. So I'm thankful for the experience, but definitely one of those things where we can't really do on a whim. I've gotten to a better financial place that we weren't really like penny pinching, and so it was kind of nice to be there in that financial place. But at the same point, it was like, wow, we spent a lot of money for one evening in Norfolk. So, and it's Norfolk, okay, not Norfolk. I know that's how it's spelled, Norfolk. I know it's spelled Norfolk, but it's Norfolk, okay? It's Norfolk, guys, get it straight. So it was a fun, great. And there was no complaints really from anybody. Everybody, I think, had a really great time. And that's, for us, is very much a rarity. So Gary, kind of met up with one of his friends, there, and kind of hung out with one of his friends most of the time while I was there. But for the most part, it was really good. There was no meltdowns. No real drama, you know. Parking, always trying to get down there, is a little chaotic. And there was drama with me because I bought 5 tickets because I thought that Gary, our oldest son, was getting a ticket and going with his friend, but he ended up not. So it was just But it all worked out. I stress out over the tiniest things, so the drama came from me, not from anybody else. So thank you to my husband for putting up with my shit. I love you. So yeah, I love that we had a chaotic moment with all of us six and semi looked normal out in public. But yeah, I just, since my life is such a shitstorm of work and kids and mild existential dread, we've been trying to be intentional with our time. And so the other great thing that we Ryan and I did this past month for February, we didn't have the kids for Valentine's Day night, and so we made a reservation because reservations are always required for Valentine's Day, and it was a Friday night, so that was very much needed. But we went to the baker's wife in Phoebus. We love Phoebus. It's part of Hampton. We just love that downtown Main Street feel down there. And so we went there. Oh gosh, the food was amazing. And then we walked down. Well, I walked down to Sly Clyde and got some more drinks. And then we got a hotel room down there in downtown Hampton, so we didn't have to worry about, you know, where our car was or getting from one place to another. And so it was just nice. And then not on top of that, but then after that we were like, okay, so we're gonna head up to this country bar that's up in Midlothian. So one of our couple friends, they live kind of close to there, and we were hoping that they were going to meet us there, but we basically were like, hey, this is what we're doing, and if you want to meet us there, that's cool, and if not, no worries. And then we got another hotel room up there. So I stayed in 2 different hotel rooms in one weekend, and it was nice to have a break. And I really enjoyed kind of being spontaneous with my husband and living in the moment. It was really just, I because, and I hate to say it, but I feel like we had to force the romance. I mean, not like we're not romantic but like we forced the time to be together because we've got so much and we didn't do work. Now I regretted it because this past weekend, because it was like, oh shit, now we got to do the business licenses and the business property taxes and we got to get that paperwork out. And so I kind of freaked out a little bit with that. So I was kind of regretting it, but after the fact. But during the moment, it was nice to spend time with my husband as just husband and wife, not business partner, not co-parenter, not mom and dad. It was just Ryan and Stephanie on another fun adventure from Hampton to Midlothian, which is outside of Richmond. So it was really fun. But and then we making the time to go to the hockey game with the kids. It was just because how else are you going to bond by because watching strangers punch each other in the face is definitely a top tier bonding moment, right? Who doesn't bond over that? But my goal was like squeezing in quality time before I completely lose my mind, because quality time is my love language. I don't know if you know, guys, but I feel like because Ryan has been gone so much lately, it was like, no, this is what we're doing. And if you tell me no, I'm going to throw a fit in the floor like a freaking 4-year-old that you told that couldn't have Bluey freaking Kix crappy cereal, even though it tastes like shit, but they love it so much. So yeah, forced quality time. That's making the most of it. But the other thing that I've been really trying to do, and I implemented this just the other day, starting the beginning of March, because I'm like, what is the point? We're so busy. It's so chaotic. We got so much shit going on. Am I just supposed to just pay taxes and die? Like, there's got to be something more. I feel like Belle right now. And then, Gaston chimes in that he's going to make Belle his wife. Please help me out. I know you know it. If you know, you know. before I start singing Disney tunes and it becomes a Disney sing-along episode, because I'm trying to find joy in every single day now. I'm purposely trying to fixate on that. And not like, oh, it was really nice that my husband did the dishes. Like, no, like, or purposely making the joy. Like, last weekend was the first weekend in March, and we spent most of the day going through all of the business license stuff and the personal uh, business property taxes stuff. And there's no fun, there's no joy in that, but it's an obligation. It's something you have to do, because if you don't, then they're going to slap like 10% a penalty and interest right on top of the already, I think between both businesses, we shelled out almost $1,400 for business licenses this year. Like, yay, but what the fuck, um, so it's not fun. And so, like, what can I do today? What can I purposely do today that brings joy? We went to Venture, another one of our favorites in downtown Hampton. Well, we started off at Sly Clyde, the cidery, and I drank, my favorite cider outside of the bench in the sun, and I just soaked it up. I needed some sun in my life. I just needed a little bit of not winter, not cold, and not dread. I know you could feel it. You could feel it, the seasonal depression kind of just melting away. It was nice. And then of course to be able to spend time with my husband, that's good too. And so we had a few drinks there and then headed over to Venture in downtown Hampton, which is not too far from Phoebus. And Venture does amazing pork belly. And I can't remember all the things that we tried. We got some kind of pizza that was there, and it was just like the combinations that they wrote out just didn't make sense, but when you ate it, it was just amazing. So it was really nice to just enjoy my husband, have good conversation and good food and good drinks, and there was no obligations to do anything else. And and come home and to I think we started an episode of 1923, but I passed out, and so it was because I can't sleep without him in the bed, and so I fell asleep on his chest while he finished the episode. And so what my point there was, I know I get on these tyrants, is that I'm purposely every day trying to find joy. And so sitting in the sun and drinking cider and eating good foods was a purposely made event that it brought me joy, like forced joy. I think that's the theme. I'm forcing you to spend time with me, and I'm forcing, joy in my life. Like, damn it, we're going to have fun. I feel like my mom now, like, we're going to have fun, damn it. Like, enjoy this shit. Like, I paid a lot of money for this. Like, I don't know. But I'm not gonna lie, some days it's really hard. It's hard as hell. Yay, my coffee was hot today because I'll make it and then I forget it, and then I take a sip of it and it's fucking cold, and I'm like, what the fuck? What am I doing with my life? And I go heat it back up, and then I forget it in the microwave, or I heat it up and set it on my desk, and then I forget about it, and I sip it again, and it's still fucking cold, and it's 2 hours later, and you give up, and you're like, fuck it, it's lunchtime. Other days it's really easy. Like, the other day it was storming really bad. And so I kind of waited for the storms to roll through. And my mom had texted me, hey, we lost power. And I was like, oh, great. So, I was thinking dread. Get home, I've got both the girls. My oldest son was already here. He rode the bus home because it canceled after school stuff because nobody does anything anymore after school if it's a potential snow or thunderstorm or whatever. And in their defense, we were in like a level 3 for possible like really bad storms. So Did we? No, no. I mean, the wind was pretty bad. So, but apparently down the street there was a tree that fell in the line. So that's why we had lost power. So we get home and my oldest son, he starts making shadow puppets with his phone flashlight on the wall. I'm like, what the fuck? And then all of the girls, both the girls went upstairs and gathered every single candle that they own and we own and brought them down and started lighting them all. It smelled like cotton candy, tangerine, and then that Christmas tree candle that's kind of sad, but it's still around, And so I had to go pick up my youngest son because he was sick. He stayed home from school that day, and so I had to go pick him up from his grandmother. And by the time I went to go pick him up and got back, the power was already back on. And so, but it was just one of those moments where it could have been bad. It's like, oh shit, like there's not going to be Wi-Fi. It's too quiet in the house. It's too dark. I don't know how I'm going to make dinner because yes, we have a gas stove, and yes, I can cook on the top, but I can't cook anything in the oven because it's an electric like display on the back of it. And I was like, well, fuck, everything that I planned on doing for dinner you need to cook in the oven, so what the fuck. So it's like, okay, well, you could go up to a restaurant and get something to go. It wasn't that big of a deal. It wasn't like the whole county was out of power. It was just a little portion where we were at. So but I found joy in one of those moments where it could have been not so great. So it was nice. And if you're feeling like winter has been sucking the soul out of you, I highly recommend this. Find one tiny thing that brings you joy and cling to it like it's your last shred of sanity, for sure. I sat in the sun on Sunday while drinking my favorite cider, and maybe you should do that too. Maybe not going to slide glide, but maybe you should sit out in the sun because fuck winter. Let's all say it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Fuck winter. We're ready for spring. Let's bring it on. I need a leprechaun in my life, okay? We talked about the weather needing therapy. We talked about my real job getting in the way of this and talking with you, and how it's sucking the life out of me, both of the winter and my job. Family outings and making time, and prioritizing my time and finding joy, forcing joy in my life. So it's been interesting. So what's bringing you joy right now? Drop me a message, a DM, or send a carrier pigeon or whatever. Find a way to get me what's bringing you joy in your life. Or what has, and that you're thinking about getting back into. Did you used to crochet like a granny and that just brought you so much joy because it reminded you of your gran? I would totally love to get back into crocheting, by the way. So good for you. Do it. As a reminder, follow, subscribe, share with your fellow chaos lovers. The next episode, I'm going to take a deeper dive into manifesting. I had somebody message in that was looking for more of a synopsis, a better way to explain manifesting. So I know I've done that on a past episode, so they were just asking more detailed questions, and I think that would be a good episode for all. So as always, I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for listening to me rant about my chaotic life. And as always, thanks for tuning in. Have a great night.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate all of your love and support. If you really loved today's episode, you should subscribe. And if you subscribe, then you get notifications of when my next episode launches. So another way to be super awesome would be to leave a rating and review, or recommend it to your friends and family. If you're wicked awesome, you've already done all three. Another way to keep up with me and my crazy family is check out my website at chaoticcompass.com, and I do blog and other stuff there. So I appreciate everything for you guys. I do this for you, so keep it up, because the more you subscribe, the more I do.